Well, I got the heater hoses put back on. All the assembly is back up under the dash. I gotta finish reconnecting the control rods. Cut a little bit off of this heater hose because right there it was damaged. So I just made it a little bit shorter. I replaced the factory hose clamp because these things are kind of junky. I don't like them. So I got new hose clamps on there. And to complete this heater fix, I'm going to go ahead and change this thermostat. It's a $5 part. It only takes a few minutes. So go ahead and take that housing off. There's 2 bolts. 1, 2. You can leave the hose connected. Just pull it up and clean the surfaces and throw in a thermostat in. Alright, I got the housing off. By the way, I forgot to mention, you are going to need a drain pan because some coolant's going to come out. But that's the housing off there. It's sitting up there. It's still connected. I went ahead and cleaned both the surfaces up, top and bottom. Pulled the old thermostat out. I cleaned up some coolant from the intake manifold. This is what the thermostat looks like. This is the old one. Make sure you put it in exactly the way it came out. Don't put it in upside down because that's not going to work so good. The way thermostat works is this spring in here is heat sensitive, so the hotter it gets, then the softer the spring gets, and it allows this valve to open up inside here, and that way coolant can flow. So then when it gets cold, it closes up a little bit more and restricts the coolant flow, which allows your engine to warm up a little faster. So also when I pulled these bolts out, they were quite corroded, like this one. You can't even hardly see threads anymore. So I got a dye out here, and you just, clean the threads up with that so that when you put them back in, they won't fight you, and it'll be a better seal. So this one's already clean. Looks a lot more like a bolt. So I'll finish cleaning the other one up. I wanted to show you what it looked like. And got a gasket here, thermostat. It's about $5. And also has some RTV that I'm going to put on there, just a thin layer. It doesn't need a whole lot. This gasket should do it by itself, but I'm a fan of overkill, and I do like RTV, so I'm going to go ahead and smear a little bit on there and put the bolts back in, and that should be done. It's all put back together. Everything's back in there except for the shotgun shells. I left those out. I didn't think they were necessary. Full of coolant. Thermostat's back in. Gotta start it and check for leaks. I even cleaned some garbage out and adjusted the choke. It'd start a lot easier if I actually use the choke. That's no fun, is it? Alright, now I'll let it sit. Keep an eye on that temperature gauge. And check the heater. In the old 70s truck, they decided to keep the fumes out of the cab by having the blower motor constantly run. If you look on that switch, there's no off. You got low, medium, and high, and low is constantly on. So the previous owner, or somebody, put that little white button in there, and that those selectors work. You can see one of those is busted off. I slid it all the way to the defrost side, so I have defrosters. I can deal with cold feet as long as I can see out the windshield. I'll have to fix that another day, but I'll get that soon. This one's working fine now, and it actually, well, I guess you can't see it with the glove box in, but it does work. The other one works too, but you have to reach underneath the dashboard and manipulate it. So the dust flying out of there. It's blowing out. So we're going to let it heat up and keep an eye on that temperature gauge. And after it shuts off and cools down, I'll check the coolant again to make sure that everything's good to go. I can take the screwdriver out of the door, close that up, and about time to go to work again. So hopefully got it all fixed.